I'm joined now by my guest, who is the Director General of the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, in the person of Dr. AJISEFINNI Ayodeji. Thank you, Doctor, for coming on the program today.
Thank you, and I'm very familiar.
Okay, thank you very well. It's always, an honor having you on the program. You have heard from Nigerians and from business owners speaking to how this has impacted not just their businesses but their livelihoods. Very unfortunate comments that we did go through, and of course, the price differentials across different areas in the country. But let us hear from you now, before we even get to how businesses are coping. How are you coping, Doctor?
It is not an easy thing. Anywhere I'm going on that needs to be calculated. I spend more money on my telephone buying airtime than to use my phone to go to any location. Any business that will not give me equivalent result to the cost of fuel, I will need to suspend such.
We have seen, comments from. Okay, we have seen, statements come out from diverse associations, from the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, also from the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. But all of these associations, echo one thing, talking about how businesses are really struggling and grappling, with the current hike in the price of fuel. You are the Director General of the Market Traders Association of Nigeria. What are the responses, or how would you say market traders are coping in this current economic hardship or period of economic hardship?
You see, I would like to share and add the voice of the National Association of Small and Medium Enterprise, NASME, to the existing associations that have commented. I am the National Vice President for the Northern Zone, and plus my being the Director General of Market Traders Association. Most of the businesses will be closing down because the purchasing power will automatically dropped. And this is a thing calling for unemployment. Organizations will not be able to curtail absenteeism in their offices, and it's not their fault. When someone is using 90% of his or her salary on transportation, they will prefer to stay back, and this will lead to work at home. Work from house for some organizations. Cost of input, cost of all the materials will go high. In Nigeria, we take opportunity of everything. Here in Kwara State, we buy fuel at 1,050 per liters. And there are some parts within this Kwara that they are still buying at 999 naira per liter. Just oppose that to what a trader will make. And this will increase the cost of transportation of their goods and services from their own major dealer to the local market. It is a serious issue. It's a serious issue that it is not palatable on traders and MSME in Nigeria generally.
Well, unfortunate picture that you have painted there, and how market traders are coping. But we will be looking at supply chain disruption so far, and look for solutions regarding how businesses can survive this current economic hardship. But let's go on a short break. When we return, the conversation continues. To stay. And you're still watching Business Daily, coming to you live on Trust TV. And just before the break, we started a conversation on the current hike in the price of fuel, and how this is impacting on businesses across the nation. And I still have my guest with me, who is Dr. AJISEFINNI Ayodeji. He is the Director General of the Market Traders Association of Nigeria. Thank you again for coming on the program today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
We have, come to the conclusion that the recent petrol hike has raised, concerns across multiple sectors, from trade and investment to, the MSME sector, to even the real estate sector. And most, like I stated, across multiple sectors. But I will, like for us to talk regarding how, small businesses can stay afloat, despite the current inflationary pressures that is being driven by the rise in, the price of PMS across the nation. But what strategies can entrepreneurs, adopt at this point? Are there any to ensure that, they are able to manage the increased cost of production at this point?
Well, first and foremost, all SME holders and traders needs to go back to drawing board because a working capital that is meant for raw materials, what a million, 5 million can buy as at last month, it cannot buy that same volume. And the fixed aspect of it is the salary of the staff. And for a small organizations that this will be affecting directly, they will not have no choice than to reduce the manpower in the organization because most of them will be operating at an equilibrium or sustainability level to keep their business afloat. And for you to do that, one, cost of production will increase. Two, there will be layoff of staff to keep the working capital not to go on to what we call overtrading. A situation where somebody is spending more than what he's making is not a business. And every businessman or a trader who wants to be at what scenario will be at equilibrium. If I cannot make profit, let me be breaking even on whatever I'm doing. It's a serious issue. It's a serious issue, and it is a thing that will threaten the security of the company of the country again, where there is an unemployment, where there is laying off of workers from the factory, from businesses. What do you expect such set of laid off staff to do? They will go into criminality activities. Therefore, we want government to look into it. It has been our style in Nigeria that we rely so much on oil. And this is the time government needs to look inward into other aspects that can sustain our economy. Oil alone, relying on a single income stream by the federal government, is the impact of what we are facing in Nigeria today. And is having serious impact on the nano. Not only, when we are talking about MSME, the people that are really, really facing it are the categories of small traders that have less than 100,000 as their working capital. This 100,000 now, if care is not taking 30,000 of it, will go into carriage inward and carriage outward. That is transportation. And what do you expect such a person to do again? The working capital that is not enough, that such a person is trying to gather more. He or she will now be spending more of it on being floating. And transportation is not the only thing. As it affects it directly, it affects the operation of the business indirectly. Therefore, this is a serious issue that will lead to closure of more businesses in the country.
Like I stated before, you aren't the only one that has drawn or has made that, a major concern. That is the potential of job losses and business shutdowns. And you have also, highlighted the socioeconomic downsides to that. I recall, just before, after the COVID-19 situation, we did see inflation figures rise as high as 33.3%. And there has been, active efforts towards bridging that gap. And now this situation has come up. But I will like for us to speak, regarding, business closures or the potential for business closures and job losses. Already, we did see figures come out, from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria as to the numbers of businesses that have closed. Are there, alternatives towards preventing, closure of business? You have spoken especially about the nano businesses that have less than 100,000 naira as their working capital. But I'm speaking, across, that is the nano, the micro, the small and medium enterprises. Are there solutions that could stand in rather than, immediate closure or cutting down of staff? What would your suggestions be?
Well, looking at it, the purchasing power of the consumers will be reduced. 2, the working capital of the entrepreneur will not be able to cover the capacity of the existing organization. If there is any remedy or immediate relief that may come into this, because we cannot force the price downward, depends on the cost of production. And the interest rate of getting loan is at alarming level. How can government now come to the aid of MSME in giving more loan at a single digit, which will assist to buffer the pressure on the organization if we don't want them to lay off? For example, a practical case study, somebody that is operating based on 5 million naira working capital, out of which direct raw materials is purchasing is about 3.5 million to the factory. Such person now will be using that same 3 million to buy major goods. The cost of transportation will increase. Cost of energy will increase. And the staff will be asking for more remuneration. And it cannot increase the cost of the selling price of his products. Otherwise, he's in a competitive environment. He will be watching the competitors while the competitors will be watching them. And the big entrepreneurs will now be the people directing the economy because they are already existing and they have the capacity to absorb the shock. But we, the traders that we are managing ourselves, don't have the capacity to absorb this immediate shock. We have no choice than to reduce our size of operation that will be within the limit of our working capital. And for us to benefit and be afloat, we are paid for government to support in making a soft loan, not grant, to the sector of this economy. For government to look at energy sector. If subsidy can be returned to energy sector, it will be a great joy to us. Because if price of oil is increasing, no more subsidy on it, it affects every part of the economy. Therefore, what do you expect? Our working capital needs to be increased. And how can we get this done? It's through soft loan. And we are paid if there's anything the federal government can do on this. And to crown it off, we need to minimize importation of oil. Let's make our own refineries work. We have a refinery in Nigeria, River State, and they promise that it will start work in September. We pray it starts. We have the one in Kaduna. Let all these refineries start processing. It will reduce our burden. It will reduce it. A lot of people now are working from the house. A lot of offices are not performing well. Traders are complaining. The little they have, there is no market. Because the customers do not have the fund to come to the market and buy. We are appealing to government to please help not to keep the private sector with this hike in fuel price.
You have spoken towards Nigeria refining our oil, and we recently, about 2 days ago, we did see, the commencement of operations by Dangote Refinery in Lagos State, which were described as, which was described as a potential game changer in that scene. But we haven't started to see the benefits of that yet. But I will want to hear your thoughts regarding the sort of innovation that market traders have started to include in their business structure? Because, during times of economic stability, it's said that innovation becomes very crucial. But are there some innovative solutions that market traders have, you have seen come from market traders, just to stay afloat in the current economic downtime?
Well, the innovation we are looking at is economic of scale in procurement of our materials. Instead of individual trader to go to open market and be sourcing for his product, we come together as a group and share the overhead cost of going as individual to that particular factory or the manufacturer or where we get our product from. And we do what? We don't overstock our raw materials because the prices are not stable. We operate on daily basis transaction.
You don't overstock, you operate on daily basis transaction. Can you explain that better, especially for the benefit of our viewers?
Thank you. Instead of us having capacity to stock our warehouse with 100 million worth of goods, it's better, instead of tying down the fund, it's better we look at our average daily sales and procure what we can sustain within 1 week and do our reordering level on weekly basis instead of monthly basis, because we wouldn't want what is happening in Nigeria is inflation. And at any time, price can drop, price can rise. Keeping your stock to some people is at advantage, that you see it today at a cheaper price. That does not mean tomorrow we see it at cheaper price. What gives us the assurance that we will not see it at higher price tomorrow? But as a trader, what we are doing now is studying the rate system of the market, how the market goes before we stock our raw materials or our goods. We don't do overstocking or understocking. We do more of calculated stocking.
You have emphasized the need for government support in the area of policy and policy direction. I will like for you to, be more specific in the roles that market traders across the nation expect for the government to play, in cushioning the impact of the hike in petrol price at this time.
The best thing we can get, the appeal we can get, we know government have said it, no more going back to subsidy. But government have options. They have the windows of reducing the pressure of this on we, the traders, the masses in the country. Because it is when the public the member of the public are comfortable to come to the market, that's when we will make money. Yes, there is this issue of CNG vehicles. CNG vehicles for how many population? We don't have enough of it. But government can go around it to find us a policy. Because cost of energy determines the cost of production. When the cost of energy, cost of fuel affects cost of energy, and cost of energy affects the cost of buying and selling of our goods, we are appealing to government. There are so many windows they can use to support the MSME and the manufacturers not to collapse totally. One of which, yes, there is existing policy of loan to MSMEs and their traders, but it is not enough again. Inflation have absorbed what we think will be an excess on our working capital. Government should please look inward and come up with another windows that will be flexible for traders and that we assist our prospective customers. It's one thing for us to have the loan to buy the goods. It's another thing for the people that want to come and buy from us to have the money. Therefore, everybody needs to go back to drawing board. At Market Traders Association, we are already strategizing and doing our own strategic planning on how to absorb this and how we can work out modalities not to kill our traders' businesses.
Whilst I was, reviewing the cover pages of the different newspapers, I did see a report from the Central Bank of Nigeria saying that banks' loans to the private sector hit about 2.3 trillion naira in 1 month. And that came as a shock, to most economic watchers and economic analysts, considering how access to credit has been a major cause of concern, and also, a repayment plan of these loans has also been a major source of concern. But let us hear how market traders, have grappled with that, talking about access to credit. And has there been stories that you have been privy to, talking about traders approaching financial institutions for loans, and what has the outcome been regarding those approaches?
Sincerely speaking, when I saw the same figure, I look at it, who are the private sectors that has this access to this big money? The truth be told, under MSME, we have the micros, medium, small, and medium. Maybe it is the category of the mediums that have the capacity they have capacity and capability to access that loan, access that source of money, because the conditions commercial banks are giving to traders do not make it accessible to them to have this loan. And traders are now being forced to go and be taking loan from microfinance banks at an interest that is given, an interest of 4 to 5% per month, which is not that true palatable to petty traders like us. Access to loan by micro sector is not easy because of the terms and conditions that are associated to them. Yes, I won't blame the bank at the other side because they need to secure their fund. But there are so many ways they can secure and help MSME to have access to this fund, because it's cheaper for us to have the loan from the commercial bank than to have it from any other source, which I wouldn't even like to be mentioning at this stage.
You have spoken to, the current challenges: access to credit, access to loan, access to market. The cost of, purchasing power of Nigerians has obviously dropped, and that has also, reduced, the access to markets by traders. But I will like for us to, or for you rather, to talk to how businesses, especially for business owners that are watching us now, how businesses can, withstand the current economic shocks that are being felt by these businesses. How can small businesses, micro businesses remain resilient, at least in this current economic downtime where inflation has become the order of the day?
Thank you. The first and foremost thing every businessman needs to do now is to review their operational expenses, their marketing expenses, their administrative expenses. They should reduce the budget, review their budget, and see what they can cut down on the indirect expenditures of their businesses. And look at the kind of raw materials they don't need to tie down in the factory. And sell off what they call idle assets that is not making or having direct impact in their daily operation, so that they can use the fund from that proceed to increase their working capital, and to request and appeal for the dedication of their staff to be more productive, and review the salary structure of their staff, because it's when the staffs are happy that the business will be happy. When the staffs are not happy, the business will not be happy. And this will impact on the selling price of their products. The major issue there is the profit level will be reduced, because the expenditure, extra costs, we will reduce the profit level of their organization. And as a serious business-minded person, we will not like to lose our customers to competition, to our competitor. Best we will now do is to review our business to still be afloat, reduce our operational costs, and maintain the status quo. Thank you.
Just before we go, I'd like you to, send some words of encouragement to small business owners especially, you are the Director General of the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, just some form of motivation to business owners who, are struggling, especially the nano business owners. Let's hear from you now.
Thank you. Yes, as a business entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur, we are bound to face challenges, and challenges is meant to come and be solved. Tough times don't last. It's only the tough people that last. Don't be discouraged. Don't let us be discouraged with these challenges. We will get over it. It's a phase. And we know when there is reformation of policies or introduction of new policies, all this type of a thing will come on board. But perseverance, endurance, be active, and be dedicated to your business will make us to overcome it. Don't let us lose hope. If we are able to sustain and be at our break-even level with little margin, let's manage it. All this will be a short-term negative impact. This negativity will turn to positivity on our business. Don't let us lose focus and lose hope. Thank you.
Dr. Ayodeji AJISEFINNI, who is the Director General of the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, speaking to how businesses are currently faring and how businesses, especially nano, micro, small and medium enterprises, are trying to stay afloat due to the hike in the price of PMS. Thank you, Doctor, for all the insights you've shared with us on today's edition of the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Business Daily, but keep the conversation going on social media across Twitter, Facebook, or X, I beg your pardon, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Let us hear from you as to how you are coping and how much, a liter of fuel is currently going for in the area that you are. Keep the conversation going and we'll be there to engage with your comment. My name is Chiamaka Enendu. Thank you for watching and bye for now.